Hey, how's it going? Back again is Greg from VPEN. So what we're going to cover off on in this next few minute video is how to initiate a claim over the phone, and then how to complete the next set of forms. Um, so from there, you're going to go. First thing you're going to do rather is call VAC. You're going to call the 1866 number. Again, we have that linked in a bunch of places. I don't remember it off the top of my head. You're going to call them up and say, "Hey, I want to initiate a disability claim or a pain and suffering claim, pain and suffering compensation claim for whatever condition it is. Your knees, back, mental health, your frostbite, hypertension, TMJ, whatever it is. You're gonna let them know." They'll say, okay, great. They'll take down some basic information from you, and they'll say, okay, keep an eye out for in your inbox in your VAC account. We're going to going to send you some forms. So usually they'll send you these forms within the next 24 to 48 hours. You can also find them on the VAC forms catalog, so VAC forms catalog. If you just Google that, it'll be one of the first things that shows up. And then type in 923 E or 923. It's the only form, and it'll give you this one here. Um, the benefit is on the VAC account. If you call them and they give this one to you, it'll already most of the time be pre-filled with a lot of your basic information, which will save you a little bit of time if you use the one they give you. But yeah, so there's two ways you can do this form. Obviously, right now I have a fillable PDF, so I can actually write stuff in there. But as well, you can conversely print this off and fill it out by hand and mail it in. It's up to you and your level of commitment to being on a computer or not. So there's another video if you want to do this entirely online without actually seeing this form. You just fill out their online portal. If that video is called "Initiating a Claim Online." This is an alternative to doing it that way. It's initiating it initiating it using the form. So as I mentioned, you call them up. You say, "Hey, I want to initiate a claim." They're going to send you this form, or you can pull it off the forms catalog, and then you've got this here. So date of application, you don't need to fill out your CSN ID and your file number. They'll either put that in there or fill it out later. But obviously first, last, your tombstone data is all going to be here. Contact info, that's pretty straightforward. You want English and French, employee of Veterans Affairs, yes or no. You want to check that off. As your marital status and common law status and any dependent children you have. So children under the age of 18 or if they're older and have disabilities. Um, so the reason you're putting that in is because if you do get your claim is successful and you have benefits as a result of that, those benefits would be extended to your spouse or common law partner and or your children, at least until you would have been 65 years old. So something to keep in mind. It's a good idea to include that. Just if you do pass away early, God forbid, you'd at least have that coverage to those folks and until you would have been 65. Um, so once that's completed out, you can put in all your service here, your um, service number here, your other documentation. The service number actually doesn't fit in here, which is a little confusing for me, but hey. So I would just write it in here. It's alpha 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You put it all in here because if you actually try to put one in each spot, it doesn't actually fit. Um, okay, so what kind of service? Obviously, regular force, reserve force, RCMP, Second World War. You're gonna put that in your enrollment and so on. If you were in the reserves for 10 years and then you transferred into the reg force or whatever it is, or vice versa, you just indicate those times there. If you were ever in the RCMP, yes or no, you can just click that. Then go down here. Okay, now we get into the actual conditions. So the next two pages here, one is your quality of life one, and then your causation statement here. I'm not going to get into too much details here because we do have a separate video on how to fill out the quality of life and causation statements, as well as some tools that we have to make that process easier. But a couple things I want to flag here. So claimed condition here, so this could be something as simple as a knee, like left knee, right knee, ankle. It could be things like multiple sclerosis or ALS or whatever else you think might be caused by the military. So that's going to go in there. If you have a diagnosis, you can put that in there. So let's say it's whatever, osteoarthritis of the spine, osteoarthritis of the knee, whatever it is. You can put that in there. If you do not have a diagnosis here, it says, do you have a diagnosis of a permanent condition, yes or no? If yes, what is the diagnosis? If you put no here, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. You do not need a diagnosis at this stage of the game. It's definitely required by the time you're done, but at this stage of the game, it is not required. Just so you're tracking that. So again, you're going to put your quality of life information down here, remembering that we've got another video about that, but you're going to cover off on that. The next one down here is your causation statement. So why do you think your military service or your RCMP service was the cause of, or did it aggravate a pre-existing medical condition? So sometimes that's straightforward, like, you're in Afghanistan and an IED blew your leg off. Sorry to hear that, man. That sucks. But it could be something as like, this is like a repetitive. I had a desk job, and now I have carpal tunnel syndrome from sitting and typing on a computer for 20 years or whatever it is. So whatever your condition is, and however it's already is aggravated by your service, you're going to identify that as best you can. Again, I'm going to cover this, or I do cover this in another video in a lot more detail, so I don't want to get too much into the weeds right now, but I just will reiterate that this part here is the most important part of this form, is how you think the military caused your service, especially if it's something that's not, plainly obvious. So you want to put a lot of time and energy into getting this right and making sure that you're covering all your bases and that you're answering everything that they need to answer. So if you have any concerns about whether or not you're going to fill this out 100% correct, I strongly recommend going to watch that other video on how to fill this one out correctly. And then, like I said, we do have tools and other stuff available that'll help you write it in a way that matches what they need. So once that's completed here, okay, you are going to put all this documentation here. If you, like I said in the other video, but I might not have addressed it now, if you've already set up a My VAC account, you've probably already put in your proof of identity for your spouse or anything like that. But if you're missing any of that stuff here, you're going to make sure that you include that as well. And then that you can either print it and sign it, and then scan it later on and then upload it. Alternatively, if you upload it through the fillable forms process, which I do cover off on another video, then I would then that counts as scanned in the context of or that's right, it counts as the context in the context of uploading it inside your MyVac account. It counts as signed, not scanned. Sorry. So if you upload it during your MyVac account, because you're already logged in, you've already identified yourself, and they say, is this you, and are you submitting this, and it's signed, blah blah blah. They consider that to be signed. So that's it. So you, like, once this is complete, you can take that and you can upload it. One thing I didn't mention earlier is if you're getting this, you'll have to fill one of these out for each one of your conditions. So let's say, for example, you have a left knee here and a right knee, right? Those are two separate things, because you could have two different injuries they're distinct from each other that could have caused that. One could be worse than the other, or so on and so forth. So you might make sure you fill those out for separate things. If this is all the same for both of them, that's great. Just copy and paste one to the other, but you'll want to identify that. Yeah, so that is it for this form. Like I said, so when you're done, you can save it and upload it or mail it in. I believe the mailing address, if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, is on here. No, never mind, it's not. But the mailing address, we have it in the links in the shared drive if you want to go find it in there. Yeah, so that's about it for this video. So if you do have any questions, or if you're confused about any of this stuff, please reach out to anybody at VPEN. We'll be happy to help you, as well as if you do have questions about how to submit it, or whether or not you need to print it and sign it and all that kind of stuff, do call VAC. They're pretty great when you're talking on the phone with them for answering those procedural type questions. So yeah, just don't hesitate to call them and ask them that kind of stuff. I also strongly recommend, if you're going to submit it this way, wait about a week or two and call them either way, and just double check that they got it and that it's signed the way they need it to be signed, and so on and so forth, just so you can flag any issues and get them fixed as soon as possible, rather than waiting 6 months for them to notice that there's an issue with it, and then having to deal with it then. And that wastes your time and everything like that. So just call them up and make sure that everything's good to go. Carry on from there. Okay, so that's it for this video. Like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and go drink some water. See you later.